How many times have you missed the opportunity to ask for a raise or promotion simply because you did not feel confident enough yet to go in, sit down, and have that hard conversation with your boss? In today's episode, I'm going to share with you the thoughts and beliefs that you want to start embedding into your subconscious mind so that you can go in and have that conversation and feel confident doing it. Because ultimately, the difference between the person who achieves the raise and the person who doesn't comes down to what they believe is possible for themselves and what they believe they deserve. Because ultimately, the person who gets the promotion might not actually be the person who deserves it. But the difference there is that they believe that they do deserve it. And when you believe that you deserve it and you hold that standard for yourself, money will raise to that standard, right? The law of compensation. If you hold a certain standard and you compose yourself at that level and you put that out into the world, that is going to be mirrored back to you. At some point, that compensation will need to raise to that standard that you set if you hold that belief for a certain amount of time. So that's what we're going to dive in today. I am so grateful to be here. Welcome to the Sovereign Alchemy podcast, the podcast for the woman who is ready to stop living in overwhelm, start reclaiming her power, and manifesting a life full of abundance. I'm your host, Mary Durember, money mindset and life coach on a mission to help you build unshakable confidence. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so the very first thought that you want to start embedding into your subconscious mind is simply believing that I'm okay being rejected. And I know that, like, oh, wait, what? What do you mean? Why would I want to believe that it's okay to be rejected? Because the kind of person who is willing to go in and sit down and tell their boss, hey, I'm ready to manifest this next level. And maybe that's not the conversation you have with them because maybe they're not in the woo-woo world like most of us here. But you sit down and have that conversation and say, hey, like I've taken on all of these things and now I'm outside of my job description. Having that conversation confidently means that you're okay getting rejected. You're okay being told no. And if you're willing to risk being rejected, then you're going to keep holding that standard, right? Because that's ultimately what it comes down to. When it comes to the spiritual laws and the energetics of money, you just need to hold that energetic match of what you want long enough for it to reach that level, for it to rise to your standard with you. So if you believe it's okay to be rejected, you're still going to keep asking, even if you're told no. You're not going to let that stop you from going after the next thing. And when you go in knowing that it's okay to be rejected, you keep showing up. And that's the thing about the person who is confident. They're not worried about whether or not they get told no. They don't want to be told no. They know it sucks. They know they're going to have to deal with the emotions that come with that, but they're willing to feel those hard emotions. They're willing to process them, transmute them, and keep going. So, the next thing that you really want to start believing and thinking to help you be able to confidently ask for the raise is I am willing to risk my relationship with my boss. I am willing to risk the discomfort in order to honor my standards and my value. The kind of person who is asking for a raise isn't worried about what their boss is going to think of them. But over the last 4 years, being in the world that I am in my day-to-day job, I have heard so many people tell me, but what is he going to think? What is she going to think when I go in and ask? Is she actually going to listen to me? What if she doesn't? What if she thinks I'm, guilt, or what if she thinks that I'm greedy because I'm asking for more? We really don't have enough money to ask for more. What is she going to think if I go in and ask? Well, bottom line is your boss might be thinking poorly of you after that. They might be thinking that you are greedy. But the kind of person who gets a raise is not worried about what other people are thinking of them. They're spending time and energy focusing on what they can do to better themselves, to build their confidence up, and they're actually getting the raise. They're not worried about what everyone else is doing. They're putting their intention and focus on what they deserve and holding their standard to the level so that the laws and principles of money energetics simply rise to that standard. They're not putting a lot of energy into what other people are thinking of them, because ultimately, let's think about it. When it comes to your boss, they probably asked for a raise at some point, and their boss probably thought that they were greedy for asking for the raise. So take a moment, let yourself sit with that heavy emotion of them telling you no, them thinking that you're greedy, and then allow yourself to rise above that. And if you need help processing those emotions, if you feel like those are not things that you're maybe capable of doing yet, this is what I take my clients through. This is a process that I take my clients through, where we're not only building your subconscious mind to start believing these things, but also regulating your nerves and being able to manage your emotions, because people who have emotional intelligence and also the resilience are capable of keeping their standards at that level versus just doubting themselves and then letting their standards drop every time they doubt themselves, right? And so if you're needing support in that process and you're wanting to step it up and be able to ask for the raise, be able to start charging different prices, be able to, you know, go and, apply for these jobs that you know that you deserve, maybe consciously, but maybe not subconsciously, I would love to help you build your mindset and your emotional intelligence and be able to manage your emotions around that, so that that doesn't stop you from going after your goals and dreams and it doesn't feel like a hustle. Because honestly, that's the biggest thing I've seen in this industry with helping coach women, is that so many of us are going through this transition where we know how to reach our goals. We know how to get there. We know how to execute. We know how to follow through. But we're at this point in our life where we're no longer wanting to hustle to get to our goals. In fact, I remember reaching my weight goal one time, looking in the mirror and still not loving who I was. And then all of the hustle and bustle just went right down the toilet because I could not hold and sustain the energy that I was putting in. And so that's what the biggest struggle is that I see nowadays is we want to reach our goals, but we don't want to hustle anymore. And that comes down to truly learning how to build your confidence and rewire your mindset and regulate your nervous system so that you're not running 100 miles an hour with the brakes on. Okay. At this point, we're just going to take the brakes off and let you go, at your own sustainable, consistent pace versus trying to like go 100 miles an hour and then burning out, going 100 miles an hour and then burning out. So, this is the process that I take my clients through, because ultimately I know that you're capable. You know you're capable. It's just now that you're wanting to do it differently. Now you need to learn that process so that you can reach your goals without burning out. And if that's something you're wanting to work on, I would love to have you in my program. There's multiple ways that you can work with me. You can come into the expansion portal, which is our program for the woman who wants to grow her wealth and do it without burning out. And then also there's a couple different levels within the program where you can work with me one-on-one at least one time a month, or you can work with me 2 times a month. Or if you're wanting to go through the full one-on-one program, you can do that. I'm going to leave the link to my consult call in the show notes. Book that. We can look at where you are, where you're going, what it's going to take for you to get there, and then do that without burning out, and then have you leaving that session with a game plan. Even if you decide not to move forward working with me, you're going to be able to leave that session with a game plan so that you can get going, feel motivated, feel inspired, and ready to take action. So okay, the next thought that you want to start embedding into your subconscious mind is, I am willing to apply for roles that match my impact and income expectations. right? I am willing to apply for other jobs in which the money I make aligns with what I deserve. If you're not willing to go look for another job and your boss tells you no, do you really want to stay stuck? This is like a relationship here, right? Your relationship with your money is like your relationship with your spouse. If your spouse is not willing to become a better person for you, then you really need to be asking yourself, is this the right person for me? And we can give this job time. We can give this job some patience. We can let your boss grow and learn and realize what you truly deserve over time. But if you've been there for years and you are ready for the raise and they're still not giving it to you and you're still not willing to go get a new job, then my guess is this person does not see your value. This person does not see the work that you are already putting in, right? Just like in a relationship. If they're not willing to see how amazing you are, then maybe it's time to move forward, right? Now, you don't have to go in, just like a marriage, you're not going to go in and be like, fine, I'm going to leave you. You don't have to go in and say, fine, I'm going to look for a new job. You get to go in and say, hey, I would like for you to start seeing my value, start seeing what I've already been offering, and let them grow from that and give them that time to develop and see what's actually there and what they're missing. And if they don't, that's then where you say, all right, I'm going to start applying for new jobs. You don't have to go and tell them that. But when you know you're willing to find something else, it's not going to break your heart when they say no. Which means you're going to ask. And if you're going to ask, there's a 50-50 chance that they're going to say yes. I truly believe that most people are willing to grow, right? Just in a relationship. Most spouses, partners, my husband, your partner, they're willing to grow. They're willing to do the work. I believe this about our bosses as well. And if they're not, giving yourself the belief that you deserve more and that you get other options, that this is not the only option out there, that there's millions of opportunities out there for you, allows you to open up your mind to being okay to being told no. And if you're willing to be told no, you're okay going in and asking. And then again, that 50-50 chance that you're going to get the job. So I kind of repeated myself there, but hopefully that is embedded into your head. The next thought that you want to be thinking is, I'm already doing the work that deserves more. I'm already performing at the next level. And you might be like, oh, well, I don't know. My boss wants more from me. No, no more of that. If you're listening to this podcast, I already know what kind of person you are. You're the overperformer. You're the girl who's trying to do it all at once, and you can't help but give. You are already performing at the level that you need to actually start making the money that you want. And when you believe that and you see that, you don't go in and shakily ask for a raise and say, well, I guess I could add this to my plate and this to my plate. Don't add more to your plate when you're already deserving more. Let's not add more to your plate, because if you want to step into leadership, if you want to be a better leader in your industry, then it is crucial that you stop taking other people's administrative work and doing it for them. You cannot lead with everyone's work on your plate. You can't. You just can't. The kind of person who leads knows how to delegate. If you take on more, then you're going to block yourself from the opportunity to actually lead and serve others. So, you need to start believing that you are already performing, that you already deserve to be paid at that level. And when you start believing that, you start acting it. And when you start acting it, you might not even have to ask for it. It might just fall into your lap. And it's so much easier to ask for it when you believe it. It just comes out smooth, right? You don't go in and say, and I'm speaking from experience here. Whenever I'm talking to you guys about these things, I'm not coming from a place of like, I haven't already struggled through it. I've struggled through all of this. In fact, I've recently gone through something where I basically told my boss that I didn't need any more money. And I walked out of there thinking like, what thoughts are going on in my head right now that I would have actually have said like, oh yeah, it's fine. I don't need more money. Like what was going on in my head for me to actually say what I said, which then gave me the opportunity, right? Compassion, 100% compassion here, taking that, sitting down with it and journaling around what is going on in my brain right now to think and then speak out loud that when I already have taken on so much work and am already performing at that next level. And I'm not saying you have, this might be really challenging for you. I mean, I recently went and asked, and I got told no. I got told no, which then gives me the opportunity to decide what's next. But I'm going to continue to hold myself at that standard. And this is what happened to me at my last job a few years ago. I got in, they had promised an opportunity to grow into a management position. And then being there for so long, I finally went and asked, and they're like, no, that was never our intention for that. I learned real quick that I had been lied to and deceived. And I realized that that was okay. That's not what I deserve, but I realized that that was okay. Because, and here's why, that gave me the opportunity to ask for more. It gave me the opportunity to seek something else that was going to hold me to that standard. And so then I felt comfortable going in and saying, okay, well, since there's not going to be an opportunity for a management position and I'm already doing things that are on the job description for the manager position, I deserve this amount of money to compensate me for the things that I'm already doing. I went in and I asked for a pretty big raise and I got an in-between raise from that. So always ask for more, number one. Never add more to your plate when you're asking because you're already performing at that higher level. And that is key because if you take on more, if you think that you need to take on more and then that level just keeps growing from what your boss wants, you are always going to feel like it's never enough. And that's the life you want out of. Like you're working on those beliefs to believe that you're always doing enough. And if you're working on those beliefs and you have somebody, a boss or something like that, that's, consistently raising the standards for you, but not raising the leadership standards, raising the standards of what he or she needs for you to do for them so that then they have more free time. Girl. Okay, I kind of went off on a tangent there. Okay. The next thing that you want to start believing is that my compensation should reflect my responsibility, expertise, and results. Meaning that if you're being undercompensated for what you're doing right now, and you don't believe that you should be compensated, then the money is going to match that. The money is always going to match what you believe. And so you want to start believing that my compensation should reflect my responsibility, expertise, and results. So if you're giving more, then you see yourself as valued as more. And once you hold that value and standard, the money is going to then align and match. Ultimately, life is always going to reflect back to us what's going on internally, right? Our internal world is going to reflect externally. And if what's reflected externally is a lower paycheck than what you deserve, then you really need to look inward and ask yourself what's going on there so that then it can reflect back into the outer world. So the next one that you want to start believing is I do not need permission to deserve more. And the reason I'm bringing this one up is because you don't need anybody else. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need anyone's approval for you to ask. You don't need their permission to see your value. You don't need their validation to tell you that it's okay to ask. This is something I see quite often. What do you think my boss is going to say when I ask for a raise? If you think that you deserve it, they're probably going to match that. Whether they believe it or not, that's what's going to come up for them, right? Like that's going to be reflected in what they see. They might then realize that you're probably going to leave if they don't do something about it, right? I feel this way with my assistant right now. Like, I am worried she's going to leave if I can't provide her more. And so I'm going to fight to provide her more. And if I can't provide her that, then she's probably going to leave. And I'm okay with that because she deserves it. Because she is that amazing and she sees that value in herself. And because she sees that value in herself, she has the opportunity to go anywhere and everywhere. You don't need permission. You don't need anyone's validation to tell you that it's okay to ask for a raise or that you deserve more. You don't need anyone's permission. You already deserve it. So, okay, I have one more thought for you. And again, these are all like very synonymous. Synonymous? Is that the right word? I'm not sure. Don't judge me. These are very similar. They all kind of overlap in a little way, shape, or form. But these are the thoughts, like write these down on a piece of paper, take them with you, and practice them. And if they don't feel aligned yet, use affirmations. One of the things that I teach my clients to do is if the affirmation just triggers the old belief, if you're telling yourself like I deserve a raise, but that thought then doesn't align with the actual belief and it then triggers the old belief that's like actually I don't think I deserve the raise, you're actually practicing the old belief and that's ingraining in your head more. So instead of practicing the old belief, ask yourself, why do I deserve the raise? And when you ask yourself that, because your brain is an evidence seeker, it's going to seek evidence as to reasons why you deserve the raise. And then that helps you build that evidence. And that evidence then helps you embed that belief into your brain. So if the affirmation isn't working, turn it into an ask affirmation. Okay, very last one here. I am an energetic match for more income. I am available for overflow, expansion, and recognition. I am an energetic match for a higher income. I'm an energetic match for a higher income. Why are you an energetic match for higher income? You are because you already are doing the work. I know that because you're here. I'll say it again and again. I know that because you're here. You wouldn't be here listening to this podcast if you weren't the kind of person who wasn't trying to better themselves, wasn't trying to make an income while making an impact. You care deeply. That's why you're here. I know that. So it's time to start believing that you are that energetic match. And when you become that energetic match, right? And when I say become, I really mean be, because you already are on that core level. Before you collected all of the limiting beliefs and thoughts and things like that was pure potential, right? So now we just got to peel back the layers and start believing it. When you are the energetic match for more income. You will see the opportunities. And whether you get told yes or no, the opportunities that align with the financial energetic match will come. And I have seen that and tested it time and time again. And if you get told no, or you apply for a new job and you get told no, that failure is there for a reason to help you grow and learn. What is it that you need to learn in this moment to help you then be able to achieve that next level? Maybe it's more confidence. Maybe it's, just being able to stand up for yourself more, right? Maybe the universe is like, "Yes, you deserve this job. This job opportunity is here for you. That promotion is here for you, but you need to learn how to start standing up for yourself a little bit more so that you can handle the pressure that's going to be on you at this level." Once you are able to be able to do that, then you're the energetic match. If you're not willing to go in and ask your boss for a raise, then you're not an energetic match for the promotion. So that's what I have for you today. Take these thoughts. I'm going to repeat them here in a minute just so you can remember them. Take these thoughts and practice them. If you don't believe them, turn them into an affirmation. Start building up the evidence. And if you still feel like it's a challenge, this is where you can come join my expansion portal, where we're not only just working on the subconscious process, we're also helping you learn to regulate your emotions, because one of the biggest blocks to us being able to believe new things is that our body doesn't feel safe believing them. So once you regulate your emotions and your nervous system, it's so much easier to let those new thoughts come into your brain and get embedded and feel like it's safe to believe those. So if you're curious to learn more about that, I'm going to leave that link in the show notes. Okay, that's what I have for you. I'm going to go over those thoughts real quick just so that you have them and you can write them down. Very first one, I'm willing to be told no. I'm willing to be rejected. I'm willing to risk my relationship with my boss. I'm willing to risk the discomfort in order to honor my value. I'm willing to apply for other jobs in which the money I make aligns with what I deserve. Another one that kind of goes with this is I'm willing to outgrow spaces that cannot compensate me properly. I'm already doing the work that deserves more. I'm already performing at the next level, right? The value I provide already warrants higher pay. I am an energetic match for more income. I am available for overflow, expansion, and recognition. When you start believing these things, you're not going to have to consciously think of them. They're just going to be running in the background, and that will literally become the filter, how you see reality. And then the aligned action just falls into place. The strategy falls into place. The thought then pops into your mind, oh, I should look at my job description and compare it to the manager's job description and be able to then take that into my boss and say, hey, look, I'm doing all these things in the manager position, but I'm over here just assisting the manager. This needs to align, right? I need to be compensated for what I'm doing over here. You're going to start coming up with those things without even having to think about it, without even having to ask what I need to do next. It's just going to align. It's going to work out for you when you feel confident asking for more. And I'll be honest here, it might be shaky at first. The very first time you do it, it might not feel comfortable, but it's going to grow. It's going to get easier. So that's what I have for you today. I love you with my whole heart and soul. You are so worthy of all the money in the world. And if you have that guilt or worry or shame, anything like that, I 100% recommend come join us in the expansion portal, because we're going to rewire that. We're going to help you see that money in the hands of good, conscious, heart-led people are actually going to change the world. You deserve to earn more money. So, all right. I love you with my whole heart and soul. Have a beautiful day. Mwah.